Alright, we're back with another video. This time it's Vestige with Amir on 5-star Insane. Again, Amir has situational awareness, orbital surveillance, and precision strike. You still want the carbine rifle, still best gun in the game as it currently stands, and SMG is the gun I prefer. But you could take whichever you wish, and just look at what things I have put on there. Or come up with your own. I probably don't have the most optimal for absolutely everything. I do have what I think is best, and that is typically what you do. You play to your own playstyle. I personally will always take shock grenades and thumper for Amir, because the thumper in particular gives him some breathing room that he does lack, given he can't go invisible. I should actually think about using some of the lenses on the carbine. What I'm just showing there is the possible locations of the Rex nest. There's just 3 spots, so you can just go through and just check them. So you never have to actually use the scanner, or you use the scanner and then you know exactly where to go. Because this is a 5-star mission, it does mean, or a 5-star run, it does mean that I will do a lot of things that you wouldn't always do. What I did there is there's 3 dinos that spawn no matter what, and if you were able to see, they didn't show up until I looked that direction, and then they just randomly appeared. That's because there are a few set dino spawns that will just happen, along with other ones that just happen randomly. So what I've done is I'm quickly trying to just go around, hit up some easy objectives. As I do with any 5-star run, you hit the easy objectives such as radars, camps, what else is easy? Radars, camps, drones, when you can. Amir's orbital surveillance does make it a little bit easier to not to pinpoint, but to pick off dinos from a distance, which can be really useful. As it currently stands, the fact that they don't disappear from being lit up once they die is a little bit annoying, as that does mean that you have to just hope you've killed them, otherwise you're just wasting shots into dead bodies. So what I'm doing now is I'm just checking if it's in one of these locations. It wasn't in that one, so I just quickly went on to go to the next one. What I believe I do, as I am voicing over what I was doing, is I was checking, I do actually go and check where the scanner tells me, only because that does mean I know which direction to run. And there is the bonus. Oh no, I didn't start the scanner. I felt like I did. I don't remember. Or maybe I did it then by accident, because I was trying to do the I was trying to get the boosters down. I clicked the scanner by mistake, but that's alright. And then as long as you see where you're going, you can just figure it out. So I'll know that it's in that other location, so that's where I will run to next. Okay, that's not where I ran to. Okay, apparently that's not where I ran to. I keep running back through. Maybe I should re-watch these before I try and voice over them, but that wouldn't be nearly as much fun. This way we get to watch the video together. It's kind of like a reaction video. All I'm doing now is I'm running over to the camp then, for sure. Hopefully to the camp to knock the camp off, and I might even show where the other hollow would have been, which would have been just in front of me over there, which I don't think I've pinpointed either, but that's okay. But yeah, just to my left, also to the east, I guess, would have been the other potential spawn. So the reason I would have done this is because I am going after 5-star, and Vestige is typically the quickest mission, even on Insane, despite the fact you have to get 8 eggs, which I think is ridiculous. You're just adding extra time, like you're adding running time that you don't need. Like, it doesn't make the mission any harder, it just makes it more annoying. As Vestige used to be the mission before you had, before Expedition mode was around, Vestige would be the mission you would do as an Expedition mode. Because it was the quickest to complete, but also before Expedition mode there also wasn't difficulty scaling. So normal difficulty was the difficulty, which for many people is too easy. It is in particularly too easy if you're playing in a team. If you're just learning the game, it might be a little bit harder. But again, after you've played for a few rounds or a couple of hours, the game does pick up in its ease of use, basically. So what I'd be doing now is just trying to get some of those easy objectives again. So I'd quickly check the map, see if there's anything that it actually gave me. It really didn't, because I'd already hit most of the things. And then I will just keep going. So yeah, when you're doing this, having an idea for where you want to be going next is really useful. So this one's a little bit easier because it's a mission, but if you're in an expedition mode, knowing a rough idea of where you're going to run does make getting 5 stars quicker. And with this one, jumping through there is quicker by like a second, provided you don't stuff it up, so it's not really that much quicker. And when you're doing expedition mode, especially if you've got the carbine, you want to first get them poisoned and then just start taking pot shots. The other reason why you would use the SMG is because of the weakness exploitation. I got myself in a bit of trouble there. Yeah, with the weakness exploitation, in order to get the extra damage from him being, or her being poisoned, or from being shocked and things like that. So it looks like I'm actually going to run out of ammo during this, which from memory is what did happen. Or at least I ran very low on ammo. That shouldn't have hit me. But again, the reason you use things like the shock grenades is for exactly that. I got in a bit of a bind and was able to use my shock grenades. And if you keep track of my ammo, I think I have only the one clip, but it stays fairly... I get a lot more kills out of it because of resourcefulness as a perk. And that's why I run resourcefulness no matter what. Once you've killed the Rex, the rest of this mission is literally just running backwards and forwards. In particular when you're playing solo. Obviously the game is geared around playing with multiple people, but that does not mean the game necessarily needs to be played with lots of people. So what are we, 14 bullets, I was at 15, I've shot 3 times. So I've already saved 2 bullets. That's 5 bullets shot, and I've only used 1. If you're paying attention just to the bullets on my carbine rifle. So that was 6 bullets then, and still I've only used 1 shot. So resourcefulness basically pays for itself. That was 7. So yeah, as far as perks that you want in a gun, it is 100% the perk that you want, on top of explosive shots, because explosive shots is just too good to pass up, really. The damage it does is phenomenal. That's 8, 9 shots, and I'm back to 14, 10. 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. I don't know. I've lost track. Either way, I've used about 4 bullets in 16 shots, give or take. Like, that in itself should indicate how good the resourcefulness perk can be. In particular, the fact that you can get multiple bullets back off the explosive damage. Again, this gun I do believe they will end up nerfing, because it is the current go-to weapon for anyone playing at a high level, and by high level, at a level where you're just playing for speed. It's less about, the game doesn't really have a high level of gameplay yet, given the fact that the game isn't, their difficulty scaling is still being tweaked. What you want to make sure is if you ever see a blue thing is to pick it up though, as the blue ones are worth 14 points. So again, I've lost track of how many bullets I've shot, but I've only used 7 since I was counting. So yeah, with Vestige, like I've said, it's just a little bit boring to a point, as there's not really much to talk about when I'm just gathering eggs. After this, I do go out to a red zone to just try and farm up the 5-star.
Well done. This is going to teach us a lot about the enemy, and hopefully it'll help in fighting them back. Now let's get you off planet. Head for an
So although it looked like I was going to run out of ammo, I comfortably survived. And here what I do is I just make sure, because I'm by myself, you pick up all the equipments. It does seem like they just fell from the sky, which is a current bug, that they do fall from the sky a little bit, which is what happened on just there as well. When you are extracting like this, you do want to make sure that you're removing hollows, for obvious reasons. Less hollows, less dinos. But or leave the hollows and try and challenge yourself. That's your other option as well. Like if you want the challenge, you're more than willing or more than capable of just not getting the than not just destroying the hollows. Yeah, and then his orbital laser is really useful against getting rid of small raptors. It is not so great when fighting large enemies, but you can't have every ability being the best, obviously. So now I've gone to the over-mutated zone, and what I'm hoping I do is I go down to this camp and I just run through and do a big loop, and then extract at Voltus. Voltus is my favourite place for extraction. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of flat land, so if you go out onto the ice, you can have a lot of space around you, and that makes it quite easy to do extraction farming, which is a great way to gain materials. It's not exactly the most fun, but if you were stuck for materials, if you do a couple of rounds of extraction farming, you'll get at least 300 materials at least 300 materials. And when you're just starting out, that can be the difference between quite a lot of upgrades. So what I was trying to do here was just knock a bunch of them off as well when I do when I hit them with the butt of the weapon, because you can just knock them around. So it is one that doesn't get used enough when I've watched people play using the butt of their weapon, because it does do quite a lot of damage, the melee attacks. And it will be interesting to see if they do introduce having something more like a knife or a melee character. I have seen a lot of talk on the second Extinction Discord of that being what people would like to see. I'm not sure how they'd make that work, as they've already got some enforcers, and the next the next hero they're looking at is supposed to be an operative, so similar to Amir. Amir is a little bit harder to play based off the fact he has low health, but what are you going to do? You just got to make do with what you got. So I would be running now towards the black box location. So I know that it's not up the top because I already looked up there. Just near the generators, and it looks like it might be directly in front of me. Which actually I lied, it's not. It'll be in the next location I check. Seeing as knowing where the black box locations are can be quite useful. Picking up things like these containers, they're worth 42 points, and 42 points is quite good. Like, for an objective that requires you to not even hit a dinosaur. So what I did is I got a little bit scared I was going to get killed there, but we made it. I should be healing myself at this point. Yep, good. I did make the right choice. You typically want to heal yourself when there's a bit of a lull in the action. You don't want to be doing it when there's lots of dinos around. So this black box is going to be just to the west of me, just up the top. You can't quite see the smoke, but typically you can. But it should be just up the top there. Hopefully my guy runs to it. Hopefully I run to it so I can actually explain what I'm talking about better. So it should be, yeah, just in here. There's 3 locations per dropship ship, I guess, or per crash site, and it just rotates between them. A lot of the map is based off a 50-50 system. Like, there's only 2 spots, but this is one of the few ones that has 3. It's actually the only one that has 3. And so it just means that knowing the map and knowing what you can and can't do makes things a lot easier. There is a map that I will link to in the comments section that Restrained Raptor has been working on that actually showcases where each of the black box locations are, as well as the 2 spots for just about everything. I've helped with the creation of, finding the locations of all of the black boxes, as that was something I was already doing and making a small map, but he has much better Photoshop skills than myself. So what I'm going to do here is probably do the trick that I found in my last video. If you watched that, if you didn't, well, go watch it. There is a way to do a little bit of a cheese where you can jump up, and I was just checking if it was doable, like able to recreate it. And given that this is a little bit harder, I was like, why not? We might as well abuse some of the quirks in the game if they are there for abuse. Eventually they will get rid of some things like this, I imagine, but this one I think's fairly harmless, and given the sense that it's only really useful during this emergence event, I wouldn't see it as being that big of a deal, but who knows what they're going to decide to do. I'm hoping what I do now is I run over to Voltus and start repairing it. That would be what I would do in a regular game. Hopefully that's what I did when filming. Again, I'm a few days out from when I recorded these, as I recorded these back on Wednesday of last week, and it's now Monday, so it's been a little bit. So yeah, it does look like I'm going to head over to the Voltus, which again, best spot to that guy jumped around a lot. Best spot to extract, as you can, you've got the most space. And space is what you need when doing this. If you're healing yourself, make sure you're jumping. So what I did there was just made sure I was jumping backwards the whole time. You do jump up slight inclines a lot quicker by jumping like that. And just in general makes things a little bit easier. There was once upon a time a way to jump all the way up the mountains, but they've since patched that, and that's why you do a lot of sliding, which can be annoying, but it's probably better than you just being able to jump straight up the mountain. So what I'm just doing is trying to make sure that I heal and jump at all times, which again, just jumping in general will save your life 9 times out of 10. Actually, no, I'll give it 8 times out of 10. If you jump in the wrong direction, you can put yourself in the wrong spot. Knowing where you're going to jump, I think, is the key part. Again, I don't use my orbital laser that much, in particular when I'm in a zone like this, because you just open yourself up to being damaged too much. Amir, I do think, is a much better support player, or one that needs the support of a team to keep things off his back. Whereas a Jurgen, he's completely fine to play solo. What's her name? Rosie's really fine to play solo. She's probably the beginner class. I probably won't end up making a 5-star video run on her. I think next one I'll do is Jack. But I just figured I would showcase how I would do 5-star runs playing as Amir, as he is the weakest of all the heroes. 100% the weakest, I believe. Here, getting into a bit of a tight spot, so just back up and then heal and then move myself around again. The biggest thing you can do in this game is just to reposition yourself always. And you always need to be repositioning yourself to a better spot, and just keeping an eye on where all of the dinos are. That is made a lot easier by playing Amir, as his orbital surveillance shows you exactly where things are, and he even has his little surveillance of his little triangles that show up. So again, the major way of gaining points is through materials, or quickly gaining points is materials. Now, I'm not sure if I die in this one. I don't see myself dying as I look at the what's coming up. But if I was to die in this situation, what I would do is I would wait out the 10 seconds before respawning in, or if it was 30 seconds, wait that out. Because by doing that, it continues to come down, but you don't run the risk of dying straight back when you jump back in the game. And if you're playing solo and you've only got your 3 lives, it can be beneficial to not it can be beneficial to not do something like that, or to do something like that. So there we go, happy days. Happy days. So that was actually quite quick, really. That was only about 23 minutes or so. So now we just check whether we got anything good. Getting skins and things like that can be quite difficult to do as you progress, but by getting the 5 stars, you give yourself the best chance at a loot crate, being the platinum loot crate. And what do we get? Nothing exciting. But yeah, that was how you would do it as Amir. And as always, happy dino hunting.